We're here, y'all. Sorry, my camera isn't working. I was telling Derrick I had to reset my computer system, but some things are not working properly, and the camera happens to be one of them, unfortunately. But hopefully you can see my face when we do the next vlog. So just FYI. Say hello to everyone.
All systems go on my end. Welcome back, y'all. It's been a minute since y'all heard from us, but we back. Season 3 comes back with a banger.
Things are about to pick back up for us, really. Season 3 is back, and then we got Extreme Rules coming at us soon.
Yeah, with our year of vlogs anniversary coming up. So, oh yeah, it's definitely worth sticking around. So definitely a lot to unpack.
Just like a side note though, I'm really excited for this Monday. Raw will be taking place here in my city of Raleigh. And I just found out, I saw a little bit of the card, and it's going to be a big match on Monday. So we'll have the New Day versus the Bloodline live on Raw in Raleigh. I cannot wait. And my Bloodline shirt came in right on time. But I'm going to wear my Damian Priest shirt because I'm a fan of him. I'm going to wear that to Raw. But I am super stoked right now.
Dare I say it's the draft, being that starts this Friday. What a time for the crossover match to take place ahead of the draft that starts on October 1st and concludes on October 4th, as well as leading up to Survivor Series, which is also the 25th year anniversary of the debut of the Blue Chipper, the People's Champion,
The Rock. That's
so
a big deal. Big deal.
That is a huge deal. Huge deal. So, today's vlog is season 3, episode 8. I personally just started watching it and I haven't concluded yet, but wow, what a stacked roster WWE accumulated
during that time period.
During this time period, early 2001, well, mid 2001, early 2002. This roster crossover was actually done a few years earlier, and it was an epic fail, believe it or not. The earlier crossover roster exchange occurred during 1996 and 1997 between WWE, NWA, and ECW. So, just to give you a little backstory on that, that is the first ever initial invasion of ECW and WWE. A lot of people actually forget that one. And that one included Tommy Dreamer as well, included Taz, included RVD, who was being managed at the time by one Jerry the King Lawler. And if you guys want to see one of his earlier WWE matches, I highly recommend he versus Jeff Hardy in '96. And that was actually a pretty good matchup. You also had, I'm trying to remember who you also had. You had the Dudley Boys doing this earlier extent, and then with the NWA angle part of it, you brought back Jeff Jarrett. You brought in the Blackjack Mulligans, young JBL and Barry Windham. And if you need more information on that video, I recommend once again going to Wrestling Bio's channel and looking up the NWA WWF invasion that people tend to forget. So back to the Plane Ride from Hell Dark Side of the Ring episode. This roster of 2002, 2001 accumulated of Justin Credible, Tommy Dreamer, RVD, Ric Flair of WCW, Curt Hennig, better known as Mr. Perfect, a young Brock Lesnar. This angle really was missing some bigger key players along with who they brought in after closing out the invasion angle in 2001.
Were these people that they forgot, were they involved in the incident? Or are you speaking in general?
I'm speaking in general. Believe it or not, had Vince McMahon waited until 2002 to purchase WCW, you could have had Ric Flair and you done the invasion angle then. You could have had Ric Flair. You could have had Hulk Hogan. You could have had the Outsiders. You could have had Goldberg. You could have had Sting 19 years earlier. Instead of having Ric Flair after Survivor Series, the NWO in February of 2002, and then Goldberg in 2003 after WrestleMania 19. So a list of people that were on this flight and on this charter, I could not believe the names of just those that were there.
I was aware of the bigger names like Ric Flair, Dustin Rhodes, JR, those people.
I mean,
Just incredible RVD being on the flight, but there were some other folks up there that I wouldn't even expect it to be up there. So that's what shocked me.
The tour was a four-city tour. And I'm sure Chris Jericho was there because he's narrating this. So obviously there is some information that he can recollect to that. So yeah, it was a stacked tour. Even Eddie Guerrero was on that tour before, I believe, getting injured and having to come back. It was a who's who
at that time.
Yeah, it was a who's who, and I believe this happened. All this was going on before the untimely passing of Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, that was another name I forgot, Mr. Perfect. I didn't know that he was up there.
Of course, he returned to the WWE in 2002 as well. He had a great match with Stone Cold Steve Austin during his return run. He also returned after Royal Rumble in Atlanta. So for those who missed any time with him in WCW, which he had a short run between 1996 until 2000, I believe. I think he had like a 4-year run with WCW. He was a part of the NWO. He was a part of the Rap is Crap Cowboy faction.
What's the name of the faction?
I don't know the name of the. I forgot the name of the faction, but they were like a country wrestling hip hop. Well, I'm a country wrestling stable, country music wrestling stable, and they were no they did a couple songs together. It was Vincent, it was Kurt Hennig, it was with the Wyndham brothers, I believe. Um, and at that time in WCW, they were feuding with um, the 50 Animals of Conan, Rey Mysterio, Tori Wilson, even Disco Inferno. Don't ask me why, but yeah, their claim to fame was rap is crap. So
That's interesting.
yeah, and it's all like it's all on the WWE network, all under the WCW banner, Library, Nitro, 1999, 2000. So if you want to check out some funny, crazy battles of country and hip hop, I highly recommend. And got infused by the Master P led No Limit Soldiers and Big Swole. So that was a time period back then, boy. Whew.
Mm.
So
Let's just dive into it. I think for me, my I think I'm more concerned with the aftermath of the episode rather than the episode itself, because I think, to be honest, many fans were or have some kind of familiarity with the plane ride from Hell story.
I don't.
Granted, they probably would have learned something new from it from the documentary, but this has been a known story for the better part of 20 years now.
I can tell because Jim Ross said it best. If I got to talk about this thing one more time, damn it, I'm going to slap somebody.
You can tell he was tired of it, you know.
I mean, who knew that I don't know what the holdup was, but who knew that a bunch of grown men could act juvenile like they were kids who were away from their parents? Who knew? And all it took was some painkillers and 3 liquor cabinet, whatever, and they just sat there for several hours and just drank. And I'm like, wow.
Oh my God. But
And this is a private plane, so whatever the holdup was, it had to be a good reason. It had to be either weather permitted or something. But it's Vince McMahon's plane. If he say fly it, dog it, you fly it. You know what I mean? So.
But it's just like the social media reaction to the episode, though. I kind of wanted to know your take on it. So towards the end of the episode, Tommy Dreamer had made some comments in relation to, I've forgotten exactly what he said, but I think it kind of relates to the I guess like the overall landscape of like social media and how one like perceives certain situations or certain things, and then you find out all of a sudden that he's suspended indefinitely from Impact Wrestling as a result of the episode. So
is that right?
Yes.
Wait a minute. So what he said based on this documentary.
Let me find the article for context.
Because I did remember what I messaged you on IG and I said, oh, I found a snippet of somebody tweeting something or Instagramming something, and it said, Tommy Dreamer looks hella bad right now, saying whatever he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that meant, but I mean, if it's that bad to where he's suspended indefinitely, and I don't know the extent of indefinite, but if that's the case, then I'm assuming RED cannot come back at all, or he can't even be mentioned on WWE anymore. But he did get in the Hall of Fame, so I guess he said the hell with it.
Yeah, so I have the article here. It's from Yahoo. So
From Yahoo?
basically, yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit of it because I did a little research on it. So basically, towards the end of the episode, the flight, one of the flight attendants, well, her name was Heidi Doyle. She had like alleged that Flair was like being very sexually suggestive towards her and like basically forcing her to like do some very uncomfortable things that she didn't want to do. And Rob Van Dam actually co-signed her on her story, right?
Right, and I heard
on the flip side though, Tommy Dreamer said, and I quote, I'm gonna quote it from the article, he said, Ric Flair is not going to try to impose by force any sexual stuff onto anybody. He's just flaunting, styling, and profiling and doing the Ric Flair stuff where everyone's going to laugh at it. But obviously somebody took offense to it. And then of course I remember Ric Flair, like he actually denied the flight attendants' accusations, both of the flight attendants, because it was more than one. And I was actually interested to see why the other flight attendant wasn't there. Because it wasn't just Heidi. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, maybe the other flight attendant wasn't comfortable. I want to assume that the Dark Side of the Ring producers reached out to the other flight attendant, but I don't want to like, don't quote me on that. But yeah, I was kind of interested in that. It's one of my Facebook friends had brought that up too.
Now, I have to admit, Ric Flair, I mentioned this before. And y'all kind of caught y'all off guard, and I plead the fifth on it every time I bring his name up now. I plead the fifth. He seems to be for the wrestling world what Hugh Hefner was to the adult world.
Really?
That's just me.
Can you talk about that a bit though?
I mean, Rick's had some marriages. He got some kids. And styling and profiling and him just being him. I don't see why people would have a problem with it.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because I remember in episode 2, I don't remember exactly who said it. I think it was JR. And because some people had actually got let go from the company after the incident. But people like Ric Flair wasn't punished as much, but he was reprimanded for what had happened. And I think JR said this, like maybe he was so self-made, you know, in the business because he was such a big star that he can potentially get away with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Now, isn't it ironic? And now I'm gonna bring up another one that they probably ain't did yet. But isn't it ironic that this is not the first controversial thing that has happened in WWE where everybody's got to get punished, but those who are at the top of the mountain don't have to get anything?
Yeah. I'm following you, yeah.
1997, of course, and we all know what I'm saying. Montreal Screwjob. And then 1996, Madison Square Garden. Especially that one. You lose Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Yet Scott Hall only received one WWE championship run or match rather during his term in WWE, and they don't want to leave. Vince can't pay them more money than what they're asking for. And at that, we all know at that time there were no guaranteed contracts the way they are now. And he and Kev left for fewer dates. And I don't know the exact amount of money, but I'm sure Eric Bischoff could co-sign that in his 83-week podcast. But I'm looking at it like this. How is it that you can let go? Let's say, I'm trying to think who would probably be, expendable to Vince at that time with that roster. I think it was all the ECW and WCW guys once the angle was done. And Just Incredible was one of them because he had that faction with X-Pac and Albert. That was done. And then once that was done, I'm like, okay, where are they going to go with him now? Who knew that this incident was one of the reasons why he got let go?
I can see where you're coming from. But
I mean, because if we all recall that Madison Square Garden 1996 incident, what is now dubbed the curtain call, how ironic is it? Shawn's the champ. You can't punish him. X-Pac was hurt. So you couldn't do nothing with him. He was not even there. Scott Hall leaves, Kev leaves, they go to WCW, and Triple H gets the proverbial corporal punishment. And he was slated to win the King of the Ring that year. And what Vince do? He punished him by taking something away that he knew he worked for. And I hate to say just gave it to somebody. I don't even think Stone Cold should have won it that year. Seeing that, I mean, but we all know what happens. 316 Stone Cold 96, Blue Blood Degenerate 1997, Triple H, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
So I have to finish this episode up just to see where this was going to go. But I wonder if anybody else has any say or any other recollection of this plane ride tour from Europe.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question now. Given like what I just read about in an article about Tommy Dreamer being suspended, and the fact that this incident happened back in 2002, almost 20 years ago, do you think that Impact made the right call in suspending Tommy Dreamer? Or do you think like Tommy is like a kind of like just kind of fell into that trap of today's era where once your past incidents or past comments or whatnot, or in this case, what Tommy was basically defending the Flair's role in the incident. Do you think that they made the right call, or do you think there could have been other ways that they could have went about it?
Okay, so I didn't know this took place until you just said it.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded some episodes of Impact Wrestling recently, and I've been wondering where he's been at, because he is a part of the talent. He's in that JR role, the talent relations and doing the behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So to find out he has been suspended indefinitely, and once again, I don't know how much of indefinite that means, but you're doing it based on what he said on a documentary. That's bullish. That is pathetic, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it shouldn't even phase him. It shouldn't even affect his place in Impact Wrestling or WWE. That shouldn't have affected him at all. I don't even know why he got fired from WWE from this incident.
Yeah, I really do believe that there should have been more done.
I mean, I don't know
at that time. I just feel like
I don't know
what
more you could have done. I don't know what more could have been done for that situation. I mean, you just co-signing or you're defending Ric Flair being Ric Flair. I mean,
mm-hmm.
like I said, it's more like I can see if he did something heinous, but who would not want to say, as somebody who's not in the wrestling industry, hey, I slept with Ric Flair. Or I got an advancement at Ric Flair's expense. I mean, who wouldn't feel seduced by that?
Yeah, I just feel like the whole situation, the whole story is just messed up completely from a personal point of view, and the whole thing doesn't really sit right with me. And
maybe I'll be able to finish up the episode tonight.
You have to, because I wanna hear more of your point of view. And it's great that you have like the historical context to it, but I think once you like really finish the episode and get like more of a fuller picture of what they were saying, or what they were trying to get at with the whole incident, maybe your opinion would probably be a little different. I'm not saying it's going to be, but I don't know. I've been like reading about it on social media. Some people are like, yeah, he deserved to be fired from Impact, and
so
you're like defending Flair, and then like some people were like, I don't know, because the incident happened so long ago. So
right,
it's that argument, you know?
Right. It's like, okay, it's like you're punishing Tommy Dreamer for defending Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of people defending Bill Cosby and R. Kelly for the things that they've done. And who's the other adult film star that's out that actually got busted? I can't think of his name. He's not. He was trying to be up there with Hugh Hefner at the time. A lot of people don't think he should be punished for doing the way he was doing things, but you know, a lot of people you can't. I guess you can't get away with certain things in certain aftermath. So you know, it's something to it.
Mm-hmm. I want to point out another article. I decided to like bring articles to like this particular talk, just to get like a better understanding of the situation. So there's this one article from What Culture, which is one of my go-to wrestling sites.
As a matter of fact, they do have a YouTube channel. I highly recommend catching
Yeah,
them on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff as well. So
I go on a binge on their channel. Okay, back to the topic. So basically, the title of this article is Ric Flair canceled due to the Dark Side of the Ring reaction, and it affected some of like his like sponsorships, like his car show commercial campaigns that he's been doing lately. They put a pause on that,
yeah.
and he's even, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, he's been like constantly denied like the allegations and whatnot. So like I said, that this is like something I've noticed here lately, like past incidents and what you do in your past, it greatly carries on in like this time, especially during like the social media era, where it's just so easy for things to just come up and be leaked and then people's opinions of you.
And I can't believe I'm saying this. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this. This is cancel culture. This is what it's heading to.
Yeah, cancel culture in like pro wrestling. And that's something I've been like juggling with. It's like, because in pro wrestling, you want to keep with that mystique of one's character and like how it's being portrayed on TV, but then like that real life stuff kicks in. And it's just like so many incidents like over the past few years, really, due to the rise of social media. That kind of
and I think I mean, if we're canceling Ric Flair because of how he portrays himself as a character with women, like I said, it's something to that, because he'll be the first wrestler, sports entertainer that you hear get slammed. Cancel culture. It's something else to that. I don't know.
And I have one more article for you. So this is from Ringside News, another go-to website of mine. So apparently WWE caught wind of like the controversy, and they removed this one and like their Storytime series. They removed the Storytime video of Ric Flair, like basically like the dramatization of the plane ride from hell incident where he's like flashing flight attendants. And, they removed that video too. So there's a chain reaction going on here.
I mean, like, I don't know why WWE is doing it, because they are producing something to come out on the network about the time Vince McMahon was about to go to prison. So, what y'all really trying to say, WWE? What y'all really trying to say?
I just have a feeling that it's gonna get ugly. This whole situation is gonna get ugly. It's already ugly, but
I mean, it's not like you're gonna arrest Ric Flair you're not gonna arrest Ric Flair for accusation of just flashing himself and all this other stuff. I mean, I get a lot of stuff it's not right. So I don't know. It's something to that where I can't say they're wrong, but you have to respect women, no doubt. You have to. But at the same time, women have to take ownership in how they present themselves too.
Yeah, but my heart goes out to the flight attendant, and of course the other flight attendant that was also on that flight as well. I was like really curious about it, because I remember when I read about it, this was like years before Dark Side of the Ring covered it. It was more than one flight attendant, so I was like assuming that all parties were going to be in the document in the document.
Now, mind you, this is sad because isn't this like the second or third? No, this is the second episode this season that we've covered involving Ric Flair.
Yes, I was thinking about that in the back of my head. I'm so glad you brought that up.
And he has declined to participate in these documentaries to give his side of the story to clear these things up. So, yes, there is such a thing as innocent until proven guilty. But if you decide I'm not going to address it, does that make the accusation legitimate, and does it make it true?
It's a very delicate situation. And one thing that's popping up in my mind is the speaking out movement that happened last summer. And a lot of people that came out.
Yeah, of course, with Bill Cosby and what's currently continually going on with R. Kelly. But the thing is, like I said, if you present yourself in that manner, how could you be upset and cry about somebody doing something to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to cry wolf now that, oh, I done got taken advantage of, or somebody's making a pass at me. Think about how you dress. I mean, come on. It's always the man's fault for indulging in needs, but women know what they're doing too.
I can see where you're coming from. And like I said, it is a very delicate topic.
Ric Flair is going through right now what NFL Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson is currently going through, with 23 women accusing him of sexually advances and assault from getting a massage. Like, come on. If he wanted to take advantage of somebody, he would have done it, but that's not his character. Or so they say. But if it's an extortion situation and whatnot, and people are coming after Rick because they know he needs money for all his health issues and terrible deals or whatever, because believe it or not, he's doing the commercials, Car Shield, to make money and make ends meet. And that Car Shield commercial that he was doing that was advertised was with NXT superstar LA Knights, better known as Eli Drake.
Yeah.
So Eli Drake, I think he even looking a little side eye right now with that endorsement deal. Like, this came out about Ric Flair, and I did a commercial with him. He seemed to be cool. I mean, even Orange Cassidy was seen taking a photo with Ric Flair before this came out. So I don't know. I mean, could we get a Ric Flair sighting in AEW? Who knows?
Yeah, now fans are calling on Tony Khan to not sign Ric Flair to AEW.
I mean, to a Legends deal. I mean, what's the worst? What's the worst that can happen? He just make an appearance, and everybody go, "I'm gonna cancel AEW because they signed Ric Flair." Look at Jimmy Snuka. He continued his life and wrestling career a little bit, and he was still being tried for attempted murder of his wife. And it did not make trial. He died before the trial. He died before everything actually went to a head. But you know,
It's a lot of thoughts. I'm processing a lot of thoughts in my head because I think what this episode has shown, especially the aftermath of this episode, is basically, how can I say this without borderline being problematic? I think it basically shows how cancel culture can really kind of skew one's reputation. Granted,
Yeah,
you know,
it
I'm not
does
the
really.
biggest Ric Flair fan, you know. I don't know, something about like his overall vibe for me is a bit
I
problematic. It's just
mean,
my personal opinion, but you know, there's
I
got to
mean,
be
Ric
some kind
Flair,
of balance, you know.
he's also going through what Nick Cannon went through over
Hmm.
a podcasting comment about Jews and blacks and um, the Holocaust and the civil rights movement, and a lot of people wanted him to get canceled and not dealt with, but he's bounced back tremendously from some missteps in speaking. So, I mean, is it really worth, just because somebody gives an opinion about something, or because people been drinking or whatever? I understand that part, but according to the flight attendant that did the documentary, Ric Flair was one of the nicest people on the flight. So who's really telling the truth?
Hmm.
And if that's true, if Rick is the nicest one on the flight and everybody else is acting like idiots, what does that say about how everybody else handled their liquor?
Yeah.
And whatever the situation was again that had them landing or sitting at a terminal for several hours, yeah, that I would have been like, I'm firing you. Give me somebody here who can handle this situation. You know what I mean? So
Hmm. It's just like the various accounts for me, you know.
of course, every episode will have people who have various accounts and recollections, and everybody has different memories. I'm sure professional wrestling has affected people in a different way, mentally and physically. So you're not going to always have the most accurate detail or remembrance of what happened. But, you know,
Yeah.
I wonder, like I said, the fact that somebody lost their job and people are losing their endorsements for what they say and what was allegedly done, and people just co-signing it. I mean, yeesh.
I know it's a very heavy topic, you know.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm wondering, are they trying to make themselves look better? Because, like I said, they're getting ready to publicly tell the story of 1993 and the steroid scandal that occurred. So 1993 for professional wrestling was a turbulent year. The 𝘚𝘪𝘥𝘦 murder that has still remained unsolved, and this steroid scandal that Vince McMahon was in. So I mean, we really have some terrible incidences that should be addressed, should be be talked about honestly and openly. For any of those victims, speak about it with the utmost carefulness and respect of those people.
Hmm. Yeah, it is very heavy. I'm following you because I'm just like, wow. It is various layers to it.
Yes, yes. It is something to it. Yeah. Like I said, I'm getting ready to finish it up, so my mind may be getting ready to get blown here in a minute. So
Yeah, you gotta let me know your thoughts like after this video.
Oh, definitely. I'll definitely do that. It might even change and be like, I mean, maybe actually I say that bad. Just Incredible said it for me. He said it for me. He said it for those who didn't know how wrestling was at that time, just like in the 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, it was a free for all, and you do your thing. This was before social media really took off. So yeah.
Oof, that's a lot to cover. Yeah, I think this last half of season 3 is going to be some very. I think it's going to go deeper. You know?
It's gonna test our resolve. It's gonna test our, emotional and mental fortitude and wanting to digest everything that we're dealing with. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the next episode is. I think it's about Chris Kanyon.
Oh no, not Chris Kanyon. Who better than Kanyon? And
yeah, it's about the double life of Chris Kanyon. So
oh no,
I'm familiar with Chris Kanyon, and the reason that I am is through AEW wrestler Brian Cage, who took a lot from Chris Kanyon. Chris Kanyon was like his mentor before he passed away, unfortunately.
Really?
Yes, he was. Like Brian Cage was a big fan of Kanyon, so he would borrow from his moveset, his persona, his character earlier on in his career. So,
actually, you can learn about Chris Kanyon. There is a YouTube video, Wrestling Bios channel, he did a tragic the life of Chris Kanyon. And he was big in WCW toward the middle end of WCW. And I think this is one that John Cena should turn the other cheek and not even look at this documentary.
why you say that?
It's been said John Cena is the reason why Chris Kanyon was not bigger than what he was in WWE.
Really?
From what I've heard on videos, John Cena was the reason why. Young John Cena, who didn't know no better or didn't know anything about Chris Kanyon or whatever. Something to the effect of him coming out or something.
Yeah, Chris Kanyon was gay. Yes, he was.
And so Pat Patterson, Chris Kanyon, and Darren Young, and Orlando Jordan. If you think the LGBT community has been mild in sports, no.
Mm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I just
And
want
I
to
have
learn
to be
more. I
very,
want to learn more about Kane's story.
and I'd have to be very, very careful next week about that episode. I have to be very careful about that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's just a sneak peek of that episode. But we
Mm.
have Chris Canyon. I believe they have 𝘠𝘪𝘥𝘦 to speak on with for the next two episodes. I believe it's Chris Canyon and 𝘠𝘪𝘥𝘦, daughter of Mad Dog Vashon.
I can't wait. Can't wait for that one. That's gonna be.
And before we get out of here, we like to dedicate this episode to two unfortunate tragedies that took place a month apart, actually. Of course, earlier this month, we lost the Scream Queen, better known as Daphne, who made her debut in WCW, and she literally was ahead of her time as a hardcore wrestler, diva-ish person.
Yep.
So, I believe she took her own life. I don't really.
I think that's what happened, unfortunately.
I don't know the extent of the situation, but suicide prevention, man, boy, that's going to be an ongoing battle for this country.
Yes.
And also, we would like to dedicate this to the Heening family on wrestling television, actually, and the Dangerous Alliance as well. It was reported on my birthday that the wrestling world lost beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Yes, he was amazing at what he did.
Member of the Midnight Rockers, and very talented individual. He will be missed, as well as speedy recovery to Triple H. He had a cardiac episode a few weeks ago, and had to be rushed to the ER and had to get emergency surgery. From what I've been told and reading reports, it was a great turnout of a successful surgery. So he's on the road to recovery. And
Thank God.
Yeah, it would be snap. We lost a modern day wrestler like that. Yo, we all know it. We're not mortal now. And one other get well wish. It was reported earlier. Well, middle last year, earlier this year. Steve Michael. We like to also wish you a speedy recovery for your family. A photo surfaced recently of him and Ric Flair together, and he's not doing too well. He's currently battling Lou Gehrig's disease, better known as ALS, and we may lose. I don't really want to say it like that, but we may lose another key contributor to the Monday Night Wars. So,
wow.
Yes.
That's intense.
Yeah, ALS is no joke.
Hmm. Well, let's try to end on a lighter note. Is there anything else do you have?
Yeah, on a lighter note, tonight is Impact Wrestling's. There's a pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling tonight.
Victory Road, right?
Victory Road, yes, Victory Road with Christian Cage defending the championship tonight.
That should be interesting. I'm trying to keep up. It's a lot
believe
going
me,
on.
I have not kept up with anything lately. We also have had some debuts in Impact in AEW that have mind-blowing after effects. Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson,
and CM Punk.
CM Punk and Ruby Riott.
And well, it's Ruby Soho now. It's called by her real name.
I'm sorry, I don't know that. You're Ruby Riott, man. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with Ruby Soho?
Soto, I can't. It's Soto. Oh, okay.
You don't like it? I like that name.
I never know I never know her name. I just knew her as Ruby Riott. I didn't know she went. I thought that was another character name that she was doing. Okay.
Don't do that.
No. I'm being a nice guy. I just didn't know. I didn't know everybody. See, WCW done got me messed up. See, in WCW, everybody went by their real name.
Really?
For the most part. And it's rare that people are doing, and WWE did it too, but it's hard when other companies try to do it. You know, we're going to go by your real name and this and that and not have a gimmick. It's hard.
Well, go off then.
But yeah, AEW might be stumping with the big dogs pretty soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm trying to go to an AEW event. They need to come to North Carolina.
Actually, I've experienced one myself and a few other wrestling fans. We experienced one, and a buddy of mine works with them for their AEW Dark
Look at
show.
you.
I experienced one, and it happened to be before the pandemic.
Oh.
And so it was a crowd for crowds, boy, that night.
I can't wait. I really want to go. My cousin and I
it's worth it. It's worth it. So I'm telling you, when I tell you the crowd is jacked from the word go, the crowd is jacked from the word go. They don't shut up at all.
I like that. I like it.
They don't sit on their hands for nothing.
I just want to support all wrestling. So I want to go to as many events as possible.
Trust me. AEW, it'll be worth your while once you experience it. You'll love it. You'll love it.
All right. So I think we can end it here. You know, like I'm saying, you know, we have season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring. We also have Extreme Rules coming up September 26th to the exact. So this week is like the go home shows to the pay-per-view.
Yes. And how ironic is it last night that the governor of Knoxville County, better known as Kane, made an appearance to officially make Friday, September 17th, Bianca Belair Day.
Oh, I'm so proud of her. I'm so
and
happy for her.
Her high school gave her a pep rally for pep rallies.
And she deserves it.
She does, no doubt. Now her storyline with, and I'm starting to like this now. She's no longer Becky Lynch. Okay, she done dabbled into her husband's drip status, and now it's going
That's
by
not drip. I'm sorry. As a
yes,
fashionista,
it
that's not
is.
drip.
It is drip.
I mean, that's what you think. That is not drip. It's colorblind. Her and Seth are both colorblind. I do not like it. They can do better. Seth has potential. I will give him that, but nah.
Yes, but this.
We good. Nah, no, thank you. What's this drip you talking about?
It is drip. Trust me, it is drip. But
All
big
right.
time Becky, she coming out here with some swag herself. You know what I mean? And this Hill Becky is savage. Like you goaded Bianca, and now you got the contract signed and everything. Setting up for her first her this now we're gonna have a full match. Okay, I'm with it.
This Extreme Rules
Demon,
card is shaping up a little nicely, though. I'm not
the
gonna be
Demon
lying.
versus Roman Reigns is gonna be nice.
It's lit already. Uso versus the Street Profits.
I wouldn't call it lit yet.
I hope
really
it is.
wouldn't. Because my question is, what are we gonna do if with Roman? I'm sorry, with Big E on SmackDown and Roman on SmackDown, they have all the gold.
I thought Big E moved back to Raw because he's the world champion, WWE champion.
No, I mean he has the WWE championship, but that he's still a member of SmackDown.
That means at the draft they're gonna officially move back to Raw. They have to because both world titles need to be separate on separate brands. It wouldn't make sense to have both the main titles on the same brand.
It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. So that means the New Day are being reignited, all because of the WWE Championship.
Yeah. Which I kind of expected that was going to happen, by the way.
And somebody mentioned that they could possibly do a feud with Big E.
Who?
That I'm actually interested in. I actually want to see it.
Who?
Roman and Big E, or Lesnar and Big E. I would want to see those. I don't want to see those.
Lashley's got to get his rematch first.
Yeah, he does. He's got to get his rematch.
Then we can move on.
Yeah, and then we can move on. It'd be something, but WWE,
not so fast.
And actually, it was. I found this out this week as well. Shawn Michaels was behind NXT relaunching 2.0's episode this week. And he will.
I enjoyed it.
I think he will be doing it until Triple H gets back. The matches were great. Shout out to Rick Steiner's son making his debut.
I don't like his ring name.
Win on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his ring name, but I enjoyed his debut. He did great.
And then this feud with 𝘋𝘢𝘳𝘬 and 𝘗𝘪𝘥𝘦, I'm starting to get behind them. I'm following them on internet platforms, and they legit, man. The hip hop scene thing and
Swerve. I love Swerve. That's the homie right there. I love him.
They legit, man. Wow. I wonder the only thing I had an issue with, and I'm kind of like, wait, man, I'm so glad I was like him. We are not doing well. I was not happy with the wedding.
Why?
I was not happy with the wedding.
Why? What's wrong with you?
Indy could do better.
No, it was quality entertainment. Don't do that.
No, I'm not talking. I was entertained, but I'm just saying, Indy could have a better crush than that. Brother got to speak.
I'm done. You played too much.
I mean, no. I thought I didn't know he could speak until he said I do. And I'm like, oh, he speaks.
He finally spoke.
Right. He finally speaks. Right.
Watch him go back to being mute though. He ain't gonna say nothing else after that.
That's my point. Like, come on, man. How we gonna communicate and we having a disagreement? I'm gonna just look at you.
If he open his mouth again, boy.
But no, on a serious tip though, congratulations to again to Candice LeRae and
Johnny
Gargano. I actually saw a recent photo of them with the weddings photos, and she's starting the show, so she's getting ready to have her little bundle of joy.
Oh, so happy for them. They're so cute.
Hopefully,
long time fan here. Long time fan. So
hopefully, Index doesn't have a prenuptial divorce soon.
Look, we're not gonna talk about how it's gonna end. Let's just enjoy it right now. We'll focus on that when it happens.
Yes, I'm like,
bro, why are you rushing?
Like I said, I'm like, wait there.
Let true love prevail, okay?
Yeah, like I believe in that.
All right, y'all, we got to sign off. But like I said, we got a lot more coming at you. So stay tuned.
See y'all in the meantime, in between time, y'all. We got a lot more coming.
Peace out.